Welcome to the Railway Series Book Club, the podcast where we dissect the Railway Series. I'm Jamie.
I'm Marina.
I'm Vivian.
And we hope you enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Railway Series Book Club.
We are not dead.
We're back.
We're not dead. We're back, and we're ready to
Unlike your
keep
fathers,
reading
we
books.
came back from the store when we went to go get milk.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah!
Okay, so now I have to ask, right? Is this gonna be like we had a significant drop in quality time to season 2, or like shit's kicking off season 2, or like basically just more of the same season 2?
Hopefully it's going to be a popping off season 2, because the books are finally starting to get good.
Yeah.
Starting with this one, Railway Series book number 7, Toby's a Tram Engine. What?
I think
Shit,
this is
there's a tram?
I think
Yeah.
this is like spoiler. I think that this is the most I've enjoyed reading a story since like Trouble in the Shed, maybe.
Yeah.
We're finally free from the emotional baggage of Henry.
And by Trouble in the Shed, I mean the
Henry.
story Trouble in the Shed.
I mean, Henry has a lot of emotional baggage. It's not his fault.
I can relate.
So,
I hope he has a baggage.
for those unfamiliar with our podcast, or if it's just been so long that you don't remember anymore, or if you're new, or whatever, hello. This is the Railway Series Book Club, the podcast where we talk about the Railway Series, and read the books, and talk about what's good, and what's not good, and, go into tangents about, like, Sailor Moon, or,
You're welcome.
whatever random shit.
I've watched like 2 Love Live series since we did the last podcast and read a ton of fan fiction, so I have tons of tangents ready.
Oh, good.
Mari has been preparing months in advance for this.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know.
And you know what? We should introduce ourselves as well. That's what we're
Yes.
supposed to do in these episodes. Hello, I am Jamie. I am Queen of Sodor and this podcast. And these are my good friends and co-hosts.
I am Marina. I'm still your local TV series bitch.
I'm Vivian. I'm still British. I don't think that's
I'm so
changed.
sorry.
It's okay. I'll make it through.
Imagine living in Britain. Couldn't be me.
Imagine living.
So you're saying American Revolution
Speaking of
really
living-
was fake?
Speaking of living, if you want to live it up and have some fun, you should join our Discord server, where you can talk about the podcast and do cool things. Talk to us, talk to like-minded fellow people. Just have a good time. We do not endorse Discord as a company.
No.
Just want to throw that out there in case 2 weeks from now they've decided to greenlight more of their stupid crypto bullshit.
God, Discord NFTs have an image of this like shitty like Discord controller logo. Definitely
God.
worth destroying a rainforest for.
Yeah, if Discord has actually like implemented more NFT shit in like 2 weeks' time when we upload this, the Discord server will probably not exist, or we'll figure something else out. But for now, join the Discord. It'll be fun. Also, don't give Discord your money.
Be there
Anyway.
or be Toby.
Be there or be
Yeah.
there.
The Chairlord is there.
Yeah.
Fuck.
They were
They're
one of
cool.
the first ones to join, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
Anyway.
Andrew joined before we opened the server.
Yeah! I forgot that was before the server was public.
It's been quite a time.
Reality does not exist.
Anyway, Toby. This book is about Toby. He's a new guy. This book takes place in the 50s, which canonically is like, over 20 years since the last story, which was in like 35.
So, like, there's a 20-year gap between Henry's book and Toby's, and then there's a 10-year gap between, like, the middle of Tank Engine Thomas Again and the end of Thomas Again.
Yeah, because, like, for some reason the last two stories are supposed to take place in the 40s, which, again, like we said in those episodes, I choose to ignore that for my own sanity.
Wait, so those take place after Henry's book?
Yes, it's dumb and bad. We've talked about this in both the times we talked about it.
I forgot
To be fair,
that.
that was also like 3 months ago.
To be fair, I
Yeah,
forget.
fair.
Should
Time
we
isn't
read
real.
the book?
Yeah, probably.
Toby. Well, first
Toby.
we have stuff to talk about,
We do.
including, like, the fucking meta shit behind the book. So, once upon a time, our author, Reverend W. Audrey, went on holiday to East Anglia, where he saw engines like Toby. So he talked to the crew of the people who worked with Toby, and he thought, hey, this engine's kind of cool and neat. I want to write about it. So he made a fictionalized version of the tram engine and named it Toby.
Which, can I just say, I think Toby is the perfect name for, like, a tiny little, like, old tram engine.
I like
Yeah,
Toby.
it's a good name. Toby's so good. He's just a cool guy, you know?
I think
I
I think Toby is one of my absolute favorite characters in this entire brand, honestly.
love that
Yeah.
until Go. Like, Toby, like, even when he was officially demoted from the cast, he still kind of squeaked through with, like, the same amount of, like, marketing and, like, appearance rate as he was getting before. Because he was still getting, like, one lead role a season, which, like, when, like, you consider the episodes were cut down to, like, 10 max Sodor ones, that's probably more than he was getting before that. You can't get rid of Toby.
As much as they've tried.
He is unfucking killable.
The only reason he's not in Go is because he would literally break the reality.
Toby would simply reject the reality of Go.
No, here's the thing, he literally can't fit it. Because the small engines are supposed to be children, and then the larger engines are adults. But Toby is old as fuck, but small as shit. So, like...
Well, they'd have to just, like, you know, scale him up to the same fucking size as Annie and Clarabelle.
Oh,
Or, like,
I want giant Toby. I want him, like,
Yeah.
the size of, like, Kenji or whatever.
God.
Oh my god.
No, they just make Toby, but he's, like, super long.
Have you seen the images of, like, Go Kenji with, like, next to
Unfortunately,
Kana?
yes.
I love how huge he is.
See, the worrying thing about that is because they're the same type of engine, that directly implies that the engines grow in all engines Go.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. That's what I've always
Kana's
thought
not a
was...
Zero series.
That's what I thought.
The Zero... She's like a fucking... She reminds me a lot more of, like, the current electric HSTs that are in the UK.
Since
It's like they're... Like, that's not the same.
I so badly want... I think I've talked about this before, but because it's literally, like, the only Thomas thing that's really happened since our last video. I so badly wish that rumor there was for a while that, like, James was gonna be voiced by, like, a, like, Instagram streamer / gamer ended up being true. I wanted fucking, like, teenage James that, like, the little kid engines go to when they want to ask what fuck means.
Yeah, that would have been fun, but unfortunately, All Engines Go hates fun.
Oh, but it gave
Bad
us the
eggs.
Among Us train.
Anyway,
So, Toby.
Toby, I'm gonna read the foreword to this book, and then hopefully we can, like, actually get into it.
Yeah, I'll stop derailing things.
Okay.
It's okay. It is a podcast about trains.
And a derailment happens 2 episodes from now. Boom.
I'm very excited for 2 episodes from now.
Oh,
That's
same.
my
I love
favorite
that story.
Okay. Toby. Dear friends, poor Thomas has been in trouble. So the Fat Controller asked Toby to come and help run the branch line. Thomas and Toby are very good friends. Toby is a funny little engine with a queer shape. He works very hard, and we are fond of him. We hope you like him too. The author.
I never knew gays were square, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's the fucking shape of gay now.
It's like the fucking shape of water, but it just has the shape of gay, and it's just the picture of Toby.
Yeah.
Oh god, shape
Oh,
of...
also, I totally fucking forgot to mention. Toby is Christopher Audrey's favorite character.
Finally, something that we agree with him.
Christopher was there on that trip, and then when he
Yeah.
saw his dad write a book about Toby, he's like, huh, so that's how writing works. You see a thing, and then you write about that thing. So I guess that's why Toby's his favorite.
I will say, for, like, as much as, like, I'm Christopher Rogers stuff, and I will continue to do so, I do think Toby being his favorite because it's based on, like, something, like, he actually, like, saw as a kid, and, like, their trip, like, inspired. Like, the book is cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Toby's a good engine to be someone's favorite, just, altogether.
He was
I-
Brenner's
I-
favorite, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, Brenna's favorites were James, Toby, Bill, and Ben.
Yeah, and then he totally ruined James in his tenure, but that's a story for another day.
I like some of the James stuff in that era.
I like All in Vain. It's a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, what I like is that, like, Christopher's favorite is Toby because he has, like, a direct emotional connection to him. And I also love the fact that just Wilbert would always be like, no, my engines are a family, and in a family you don't have favorites.
Yeah, it's cute. So do we want to read the story now?
Yeah.
Okay. Toby is a tram engine. He is short and sturdy. He has cow catchers and side plates and doesn't look like a steam engine at all. He takes trucks from farms and factories to the main line, and the big engines take them to London and elsewhere. His tram line runs along roads and through fields and villages. Toby rings his bell cheerfully to everyone he meets. He has a coach called Henrietta, who has seen better days. She complains because she has few passengers. Toby is attached to Henrietta and always takes her with him. She might be useful one day, he says.
I like this opening page.
Yeah.
It's so good. I really like this illustration, because it's just... Here is Toby.
And here is Toby.
Here is a
Exactly.
Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway pug. And here
And
is
here
Toby.
is Toby.
Here is an ON30 American logging loco. And here is Toby.
Here is my wife serving me divorce papers. And here is
Wait, did he
Toby.
actually get divorced?
No, I
I
don't.
don't think he was married to begin with. Although, you know what? One of my favorite Simon A.C. Martin things is when, like, I think some woman came on to Sodor Island forums and was like, yeah, you guys are all, like, sexist weirdos. You would never be able to, like, be with a woman in real life. And then Simon A.C. Martin posted a picture of himself on a horse being like, it takes a real man to tame the beast. And it just looked stupid.
Oh god.
Uh,
I thought you were gonna say he simped for like the first like girl who joined the forums, but that's more on in character for
yeah, that
Simon,
would
what
be
you
more
said.
creepy than funny.
Yeah.
Simon
Ah,
Martin
it's the
shows
Simps.
up. Simon Martin shows up. I bet you are wondering why I am here.
Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, this is just such a good description and
Yeah.
introduction of Toby in general.
Yeah, he's just a little boy, little old man.
Yeah.
I like Toby taking Henrietta everywhere with him, and that's something I wish like the show kept because I just think it's cute.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I love how it's described as Toby is attached to Henrietta, because, like, that is kind of a double meaning, like, because they are literally, like, attached by, like, the coupling, but they're, Toby's also just attached emotionally.
They're
Like,
married.
fucking, That's his wife.
They're just an old married couple.
Yeah, canon.
I do love that even people who are vehemently against shipping in the Thomas fandom are just like, yeah, Toby and Henrietta are married.
Because it's just how they're written.
Yeah, it's just what they are. Also, Johnny Morris bell noises.
Oh god.
I don't know if y'all heard them when you were, like,
I did.
going through the thing,
I
but
did.
Johnny Morris's bell noises are something.
Do I even want to? Because I read it because I saw you like mention that spoilers. I guess later they skipped some of like the book.
Yeah, Johnny Morris skipped some pages for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, which I wanted to make sure I didn't miss those. But like,
Yeah.
I kind of wish I did listen to it now because I kind of
Yeah.
want to.
Something I'm only noticing just looking at the page is I think something Johnny Morris ad-libbed into it is that, like, he explicitly mentions that there's a junction on Toby's branch lines, where on this one, he just says he takes the stuff to the main line,
Huh.
which kind of implies that he's, running on a little branch on his little tramway is just a branch off the main line, but, like, I still think it's interesting, that aspect of Toby's tramway, because, like, I don't think any fan productions have ever, like, really capitalized on, like, what Toby's branch line well and truly is like,
All we really know is that it's a tiny little line somewhere in East Anglia.
Yeah, so, like, in the northeastern region.
Is it ever confirmed if Toby is explicitly from the Wisbeach and Upwell, or is he just like his own thing?
I don't think it's ever confirmed that where he's working right now is the Wisbeach and Upwell, but it is, I feel like if it isn't, it's gotta be close enough.
Is it
Like, a Skarloey Railway to Taliclin Railway situation where it's like, it's similar but not quite the same.
is it canonically East Anglia in the Railway series, or is that just implied?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know if it was just like an implied thing because like that's where Toby's
Yeah.
based on, or if it was something made up for Tobias and the Half Pariah.
God. I'm pretty sure they mentioned it in the next story. Don't quote me on that, though, but he is definitely from East Anglia.
When I was a kid, I actually went to East Anglia on holiday once, and I remember
nice.
spending the entire time looking for Toby.
Oh,
Aww.
I wanted to find him and say hi.
But his tramway is closed! You can't find him there! He's on Sodor!
Yeah, I realized that, and it's like, oh, I wanted to see Toby.
I really like all the illustrations we see of Toby's tramway, but
Yeah.
I feel like the TV series sets for Toby's tramway also look really nice, but they don't actually feel like a tramway.
They don't really sell the like quaint countryside kind of vibe.
I mean, I do like the countryside vibe that they had. My main problem with it is just that, like, there aren't any, like, roads or towns that Toby travels through. It's just kind of, like, a bunch of tracks in the middle of the boonies. Which, like, it works. It's just, I wish there was roads that Toby went past.
I feel like the sets were because they reused some of those sets like for other stuff in season 1, right?
Yeah, they use them for a lot of, like, B-roll and stock footage.
Huh. I do wonder
Yeah.
if like they intended them to be like the tramway the whole time and just like kind of reuse them for other stuff, or if like they were just sets they had that they were like, yeah, those can be his tramway.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's the latter, given that, again, it doesn't actually look like a tramway. It looks like It does look like a rural branch line in the middle of nowhere, but tramways, by definition, kind of have to go, like,
Somewhere.
by roads, into town, stuff like that. That's why he has to cow catchers and side plates, because otherwise, people or vehicles could get crunched under his wheels.
Okay, but I like Toby being like just from like the like you said like the boonies or whatever, and it's just like from the American South, and he has that kind of like those shows like Swamp People or whatever the fuck where like you can't understand what the people are saying because their like southern accents are so thick that they have to caption everything they say even though they're speaking English.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just imagine Toby talking like that.
I'm pretty sure that's the mentality people had when 2010's YouTube series decided to turn him into Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh god, you mean Train Boy 7 Toby?
I mean Train Boy 7 Toby.
I like that even he hated that after a certain point, that he was just known as,
Yeah.
like, the redneck Toby, and was, like, trying to not use that joke again.
Yeah, that's all I really have to say about this page.
Yeah.
It's a good introduction to Toby, good introduction to Henrietta. Looks nice.
It's weird that Henrietta actually talks here, when, like, because she doesn't, like, really again until, like, season 18, and, like,
Yeah.
it's weird how quickly they dropped Henrietta being a character, because, like, there's her getting, like, offended with, like, Annie and Clarabelle and Daisy, but, like, that's it.
Yeah. They like added a scene in like fucking Time for Trouble or something where like Percy and Henrietta meet Toby on the middle of the main line for some reason. Like they add a bit for Henrietta there and then nothing else ever again.
Yeah.
That's the last time she's a character until they like bolt a face to her back.
Which was the best decision they've made.
It's weird because, like, you know, Toby is, like, still, like, talking for her pretty consistently in the classic series.
Yeah, it's weird.
Is it meant to be a thing where, like, she just doesn't like talking to people besides Toby, or is, like, she just not alive and Toby thinks she is?
Maybe she's just shy.
Hmm.
You know, she feels comfortable talking to Toby. And then, to anyone else, she is just like, oh, I don't want to talk, I'm a small bean.
So it's the Tangle and Whisper dynamic.
Yes. Next page.
Oh god, poor Henrietta when Toby gets infected with the metal virus.
Oh no!
Toby gets metal cladding instead of wooden, and Henrietta just screeches.
Toby! Oh
thing,
god.
Toby!
Toby's just gonna spontaneously blow up and no one's gonna talk about it.
Oh god! Sundry conflict. And now, the next installment.
It's not fair at all, grumbles Henrietta as the buses roar past full of passengers. She remembers that she used to be full, and 9 trucks would rattle behind her. Now there are only 3 or 4, for the farms and factories send their goods mostly by lorry. Toby is always careful on the road. The cars, buses, and lorries often have accidents. Toby hasn't had an accident for years, but the buses are crowded, and Henrietta is empty. I can't understand it, says Toby the tram engine. People come to see Toby, but they come by bus. They stare at him. Isn't he quaint? They say, and laugh. Are we sure they make him so cross isn't part of this page?
Yeah, no, that it's not there.
Okay, because it's here, and it feels like it should be part of that page.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna say it anyway, fuck it. They make him so cross.
You know, that feels like it should be ending the ending that page, because the next page goes to, like...
Yeah, because the next page is a scene change. What's up with that?
That's bad formatting. I like especially...
Yeah.
It's the bottom of the page in the complete collection, too.
Yeah! It's fucking weird. Anyway, Toby is officially the first victim of the changing of times.
Poor
This is a
boy.
theme we will be seeing more of in these books. You know, more and more towards the end, but there's like a few times.
Cube of time.
The winds of change are an ever-present kind of concept in Thomas, but this is kind of the first time it really directly affects a character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you know, Toby hasn't had an accident in years, but the buses are crowded and Henrietta's empty. Damn, this really says a lot about society.
Why did you turn into Sonic?
I don't fucking know. Would you rather I have said it in a fucking jonker voice? Toby hasn't had an accident in years, but the buses are crowded and Henrietta is empty. Damn, this really says a lot about society.
You low don't like capitalism, yet you exist! iPhone, Venezuela, bottom text 100 billion dead!
Joe, many liberals does it take to change a log by a bulb? None! They're too busy! Their gender!
I like the, God. I like,
How do we continue from that?
I don't fucking know. Train good, car bad.
I like the description of how like people kind of come and like see Toby, but like mainly just to be like, oh, that's weird. And then
Yeah,
leave.
they don't even fucking ride the train. They show up on the bus and are like, "Hey, look at this idiot," and then they walk away.
It's one of the only times that like I don't know. We don't really. I don't really remember later seeing a lot of the like more like the people's reactions, I guess, to the engines like changing and everything.
See,
Yeah,
I think a big thing with this is like everybody up until the Fat Controller and everyone come along is completely impersonal and just kind of apathetic to Toby's existence.
Yeah, they just view him as like a machine oddity.
yeah.
Whereas the second someone from Sodor comes along, they have a conversation with him.
Yeah, and that's a route I really like.
They don't see Toby as alive.
Yeah.
Something engines metaphor alive something.
Like, the mainland kind of being completely impersonal with the engines becomes a massive plot point later in the series, but like,
Yeah.
Toby really is the first victim of it, because he doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is people show up, make fun of him, and leave.
Yeah, and it makes him upset. Like, hey, don't be such a shithead. I'm right here. I can do things. I can do things better than you're doing things right now.
I know it's probably not the best thing to bring up, but I do like how much they explore that in Tobias. Because, like, of how much, like, it kind of messes up, like, yeah, and, like, his trust in others and everything.
Yeah, I don't remember enough of that movie to say for sure, but,
I remember it being good.
I do think that is really cool. And I wish that side of Toby was explored more.
Yeah, I wish that situation was kind of explored more, because even later when, like, that becomes major plot points, we don't really, like, actively see the kind of, like, depersonalization the engines get. If that makes sense.
Like, if this was expanded into a 22-minute episode of television, this would probably be one of the single best Thomas stories ever.
A short 30-minute thing, just kind of exploring Toby growing up and then kind of being abandoned by his community would be, like, both really good, but also really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a really sad story, you know? There's, like, a spark of joy in the middle of it. But then after the spark leaves, it just goes back down and down until the railway finally closes. It's like, this is a sad story.
It ends on a hopeful note, though, which I like.
Yeah, it does.
It does, and I'm glad it does. But, like, man...
Yeah, it just makes me sad, because in the moment, you can tell Toby doesn't know why this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all he knows is he's doing his job well, and he's not getting any recognition for it.
Yeah.
Poor Square Boy.
Well, it's not like he has much job to do anymore, just because, there are other things that are doing his work for him, There's the buses are taking the passengers, all the, lorries are taking the freight, even though they have more accidents. Toby's still there, trundling along, true as ever.
I
don't know.
It feels like the world's forgotten about him.
I was joking earlier when I said, damn, this says a lot about society, but I mean, it literally does, because fucking road transport is objectively worse on all fronts compared to trains in these regards. And yet, most of society has transitioned away from rail travel as, like, a means of public transport. It really does say a lot about society.
I love that they kind of go back to this in Hard Lori.
Yeah.
It's like
they do.
of the like engines, like, cause we kind of
Toby's
see
the only one we
Thomas
see
Percy.
interact with a lorry more than once.
Yeah, cause like
Yeah.
Thomas Percy and Toby all kind of have scenes with them, but like Toby runs into them like multiple times, and like it kind of mentions that like he recognizes like what's going on.
Yeah, because he's been through this firsthand. It has the capacity to be very emotionally poignant.
What would actually be really interesting to me is like a scene during kind of the whole modernization arc where it's just like one of the bigger engines talking to Toby, who's already been through this.
Yeah.
It really is a shame Toby isn't more present for some of those stories, just by nature of him being on the branch line. Because I feel like, he would have a lot to say about the current situation.
I feel like that's
You know.
kind of a missed opportunity in general, is like Toby and Daisy are kind of the most connected to it, because Daisy is literally the first Diesel on the island, and then Toby's been through that. But then, like,
Yeah.
which, like, on one hand, I think it's kind of cute that, like, the branch line is kind of its own little, like, separate thing from all that.
The branch line feels like a little safe haven.
Yeah, whereas I think it would have been interesting to see it brought in more.
It's like,
Yeah.
At this point, Duck's branch line isn't open yet. Edwards is kind of still dealing with the effects of the diesels because of, like, mainline engines and everything. The main line goes through, like, Diesel, Spam Cam, Class 40, and eventually Old Stuck Up.
The best one.
And then, like, Thomas, Percy, Toby, and Daisy they're just puttering about,
Yeah. And
Daisy shows up. Daisy shows up. There's some misadventures, but ultimately, they put her on the right path, and they're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make him so cross. One day, a car stopped close by, and a little boy jumped out. "Come on, Bridget!" he called to his sister, and together they ran across to Toby. 2 ladies and a stout gentleman followed. The gentleman looked important, but nice. The children ran back. "Come on, grandfather, do look at this engine!" And seizing his hands, they almost dragged him along. "That's your tram engine, Stephen," said the stout gentleman. "Is it electric?" asked Bridget. And the page just ends there for some reason. Okay. The stout gentleman.
The best thing about this scene in the TV series is Lady Hat's model, because her eyes just look like fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
See, now everybody listening, I'm gonna let you on a little secret. The stout gentleman is the fat controller.
You're not supposed to know that yet, even though I'm pretty sure the TV series just outright says it.
Yeah, I don't really like that.
The
Like,
TV series outright says it. It's spoiled in the foreword. I do kind of like that it's obfuscated, and I feel like if this was in a more... Like, if this had been in an animated medium first, they would have, it would have been a bit more subtle to let on that, hey, wink wink, this is the stout gentleman. Totally not,
Yeah,
Sir Topham Hatt.
like, I feel like if they did an Adventure Begins type adaptation, they would have been able to, like, show it without saying it, whereas...
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things where, like, the TV series was really affected by, like, the models, especially in season... Like, the human models, especially in season 1, because it's, like, all, like, the little details, like, the kids, like, dragging them along and stuff, like, obviously we don't see that. And, like,
Yeah.
it's also, like, in the TV series, this just happens on, like, a station platform, whereas in this, it's literally in the middle of a town.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the fucking town square. This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying the tramway sets could have been so much cooler. Because, like, just imagine, like, if the set was just a big town square. That would have sucked for the budget, but man. Or, like, imagine if they'd integrated this kind of town square-like set into, like, some kind of junction for the main line. Like, they wouldn't have any engines for it, but man.
I'm surprised that, 2 things. One, that they didn't use that set from, Thomas in Trouble, where he goes through the crossing, because you see a little town near there, right?
Yeah.
And then also, when you were describing, like, what it could have been, it just made me think of that, like, narrow gauge, like, town square set from, like, season 11.
I like
Oh,
that
yeah.
set.
That's a pretty good set.
Yeah, no, I did too, and I think it would fit this.
The whole thing with Toby is that he's meant to like kind of weave in and out of the actual town streets. Like
Yeah.
for a while,
Yeah.
he literally just runs along the street. So like, and like I like that this is essentially just like the Fat Controller was probably driving along. The kids told him to stop because they saw a cool train, and then they dragged him along and forced him to get on the train.
He
Yeah.
doesn't really complain that much.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a cool train. It's like, yes, that's what that is. Good eye. You know.
I
Nice.
I like that Toby looks so surprised that people are actually like paying attention to him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because everyone else is a shithead to him. Like, it's the first time people are like, giving him positive attention in, like, forever.
Also, you can see Toby's boiler back there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still fucked up over the fact that, like, the close-up model of Toby's boiler was used as, like, the reference for, like, that piece of cargo that came with the original Trackmaster Kevin.
Yeah. I never knew
Like,
that.
I have that piece of cargo, and I'm just like, wow,
I had
that
it.
is extremely weird.
You know, they pulled from some random shit in the like Hit Toys Trackmaster era.
This is kind of a random thought. Something I really like is when they have Toby's little front windows open.
Here's the thing. I didn't notice for the longest time that Toby's windows could move on his model, and I like it. Like, I think it looks cute when they're, like, open like that, or when they're, like, both closed. But, like, half of the time, one will be, like, half open or something, and it just bothers the fuck out of me in episodes. Just because when I see it, I can't unsee it, and it's like, this isn't like a haha OCD joke. It's like, no, I actually have OCD. And, like, that's just a little thing that for some reason it just bothers the fuck out of me when I notice it. Because, like, in this, like, I like, obviously don't care because they're both, like, pushed in and all that. But, like, yeah. I think it's, like, Time for Trouble. There's, like, a shot where he's going where, like, one is, like, half open and then the other is, like, not aligned, and they just look so wrong.
See, I actually like them being a little bit off, like, from each other, because I feel like Toby just being very slightly asymmetrical is kind of weirdly fitting for him.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's absolutely just me. But
I really like Toby's prop, even though it is the size of a house.
Why is he so big?
oh, I love Toby's model.
Why'd they burn
I-
him in season
yeah.
3?
Oh yeah, didn't he catch fire or something?
Like, the thing that bothers me about his model is why, like, they made the spark arrestor for his model. Why didn't they use it?
What's a
I
spark
like it.
arrestor?
So you see on Toby's funnel how there's like that little mesh up in the top?
Oh, they made that?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was on those, like, those season 1 reference photos that people don't want shared.
Oh, are those on the wiki or anything? Or
I don't think so.
Maybe.
If I can find a copy of
They're,
them,
like,
I'll send
really
it to
easy
you.
to find, though, because they're, like, a very poorly kept secret.
I mean, they were up on Twitter for like 4 separate times.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a spark arrestor, Mari, for like if you want a very quick explanation, is essentially just like, you know, if an engine's puffing, sometimes it'll send out sparks from the funnel, and a spark arrestor is like a little mesh cap on the top of the funnel that'll catch the spark to make sure it doesn't start any fires.
huh?
Yeah, it's a little hat. Like in Thomas and the Fire Engine.
Basically, what it is Toby has a tiny little hat that makes sure he doesn't set anything on fire because he likes his little scenery.
Yeah. Go watch Thomas and the Fire Engine by Stuart Aldlangsyne. Also watch Aldlangsyne. The most recent episode is very, very good. Whoosh! Hissed Toby. Shush, shush, said her brother. You've offended him. But trams are electric, aren't they? They are mostly, the stout gentleman answered. But this is a steam tram. May we go in it, grandfather, please? The guard had begun to blow his whistle. Stop, said the stout gentleman, and raised his hand. The guard, surprised, opened his mouth, and the whistle fell out. While he was picking it up, they all scrambled into Henrietta. So Johnny Morris cuts out the part about electric indeed for some reason. I don't know why,
That's like one
but
of
he
the best
does.
parts of the story.
It
Yeah,
is.
what? Why would you cut that?
See, I
I don't know.
thinking about
He
it.
also cut some other parts from the story. It's weird. I don't. Maybe there was some like time constraints on the record or whatever. But yeah,
So thinking
Maybe?
about it, I am kind of confused as to why being electric is an offensive concept to Toby.
I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe he's just proud of who he is.
aren't electric trams usually road ones? Or am I wrong
Uh,
on that?
well, like usually they'd either have like overhead wires or like some kind of ground conduit or
Do you think
something.
he just thought the kid was fucking stupid?
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, they do seem like very silly children. You know.
Henrietta
God,
looks
what the
fucking
fuck was I was gonna
huge in
say?
this illustration.
Something earthworms.
Brainworms.
Henrietta is fucking massive in this illustration, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She wide.
wide coach.
Toby looks kind of long in this one, too.
I do like this illustration, though,
Yeah.
because it shows you more of the town.
Yeah, it's a good one.
They have, however, swapped
You know.
sides from where they were initially.
Yeah, because they went over to see the
Yeah.
other side. Because they're getting
Yeah.
they're getting on the coach right now.
Honestly, I do think it is very funny they're getting in this side of Henrietta, if only because, like, if this is a CGI series, her face would be in the way.
Oh god, I remember people on like the Bachman forums or something were talking about whether or not they should give Henrietta the face, and there were some people that were adamantly against that because it replaces the door, and that
I mean,
makes it unrealistic. But like,
I kinda get it, if only because, like, the door is kind of an important part. Even if she has another one, like, I don't feel like it would have been that much of a stretch if they just, like, put the face on the door instead of it being, like, just a big plate on the back of the coach.
See, I think that would have been worse, because then you'd have to open her face.
it'd be so
Well,
tiny.
engines can have their faces open anyway. Fucking Smokebox door, bitch.
See, I just kind of prefer her just having the face she has in the CGI series.
Yeah, the one she has in that one Chris image is weird. Because I think it is
Yeah.
just the door in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there is a balance that could be achieved, but I don't know. Maybe if you, like, put two doors either side of her face instead,
That would work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they could replace the windows next to them.
yeah.
Because I think she still has the windows in CGI.
Yeah, she still
Yeah, she
has the
does.
windows, but they're different on that side, though, because of the way they added the face. I don't know.
It got us probably one of the best dynamics in the show, if nothing else.
Yeah,
I think Toby's much too old to have a race.
everyone complains about signals crossed, but you know what? I think it's fine.
I think Signals Cross is
pretty
a really
cute.
cute concept, especially if you recontextualize it to be when Toby's new to the line.
Yeah. Honestly, all they had to mention was that the signal system is new.
Or just like that Toby doesn't go to Knapford very much, because like he kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
I mean,
but like right around then is when they modified Knapford too, right?
yeah, in season 18, they put the giant fuck-off junction in front of Knapford, and then in the next season, they added the giant fuck-off shunting yard next to it. And yet they never changed the outroads from Tidmouth to not look like shit.
Because it was Adventure Begins where they added like the rest of the yard and stuff to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do we have anything else for this page?
I like seeing the Fat Controller on vacation.
Yeah.
It's cute.
I wonder what else he did before he went to see Toby.
He went to go visit his ex-boyfriend, Colonel Stevens, maybe. I don't know.
Colonel Sanders.
Murray, do you know about Colonel Stevens?
No.
He's the guy behind the Kent and East Sussex Railway, and just a bunch of jank railways in general that are very neat.
And
You should ask Andrew about him. They're really...
yeah,
there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
He did like a lot of light railways essentially. Like he had like a lot of really tiny little railways, and I may be wrong, but I think he was one of those like people who like he never said he was gay, but like you can kind of infer it.
He had like some kind of like advisor or something that he was very close to.
Ah, so it was one of those platonic like life partners.
Yeah, platonic life partner
guys
thing.
being
Yeah,
dudes,
totally.
gals being pals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
Hip hip hooray! Chanted Henrietta, and she rattled happily behind. Toby did not sing. Electric indeed, he snorted. He was very hurt. The stout gentleman and his family got out at the junction, but waited for Toby to take them back to their car. What is your name? Asked the stout gentleman. Toby, sir. Thank you, Toby, for a nice ride. Thank you, sir, said Toby politely. He felt better now. This gentleman, he thought, is a gentleman who knows how to speak to engines.
I like that line.
Yeah, no, I like this bit. It's cute. I love how much happier he looks, too.
I like the idea that Toby has experienced many gentlemen who do not know how to speak to engines.
You know, he kind of has. That's kind of what the story to this point is, like, established.
I think Toby being offended by being called electric, juxtaposed with Henrietta being excited having passengers, is funny. But I also think that Toby's developing friendship with the Hat family is very sweet.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Honestly, the electric thing might just be because he's so used to, like, people just being like, oh, what is that? Is that a bus? Is that, like, an electric thing? And then...
Oh, look, it's a house!
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm a garden shed. Very funny. It's not like I've heard that 40 fucking times since
I know
Monday.
garden sheds are slow, but the Bachman Toby is by far the slowest model.
Why I This entire video has been making fun of Simon Martin.
I mean, here's the thing.
I mean, you know what?
With that stuff, I'm not even really mocking it. I'm just kind of quoting those videos.
They're funny quotes. He's a very quotable guy.
There was a point where I enjoyed his stuff, and then there was a point where he became a condescending asshole. I mean, an absolute dick. I mean...
Yeah.
I'm out of joke, I means. I mean what I'm saying. He's kind of...
He was so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, this is a face they absolutely, like, made, like, into a Model 1, and it was a good choice, because it's cute.
Yeah. It's a very good Toby face. I love it. It's a good illustration,
It's also,
honestly.
like, the happiest we see him, like, in this story, which is cute.
Yeah.
Looking through, I think it's the happiest we see him until, like, the last illustration in Thomas in Trouble, which is really cute.
I think inherently Toby is probably one of my favorite designs in the series.
He's endearing, because he's just a little square.
Yeah. He is just straight up a middle finger to all those, like, you know, design theory posts. They're like, oh, if you want your character to be friendly, they have to be all circular and round. Like, no, fuck you. This guy is a box, and he is your best friend.
Those people have never seen Toby, and they've clearly never played Box Boy. It's a little cube. It's also the rarest amiibo.
Wow.
I love the idea of Murray just being a very adamant Box Boy fan.
I've never played any of the games, I just thought of that. Honestly.
Like, Mari's fucking going up to people with, like, this character design qualifications and just slamming down a Box Boy amiibo.
You clearly never played Box Boy. To be fair, you need a very high IQ.
You need to understand Box Boy.
Oh, God.
I feel like if there's any Thomas character I would like to have a conversation with, it would be Toby.
He seems like a cool, down-to-earth guy, you know.
Yeah.
And he reminds me of my lord and savior, Box Boy.
This is the dumbest joke I've ever started.
The children came every day for a fortnight. Sometimes they rode with the guard, sometimes in empty trucks, and on the last day of all the driver invited them into his cab. They were all sorry when they had to go away. Stephen and Bridget said thank you to Toby, his driver, his fireman, and the guard. The stout gentleman gave them all a present. "Peep, pip, pip, peep," whistled Toby. "Come again soon." We will, called the children, and they waved till Toby was out of sight.
I like the fact that Bridget has to stand on a little box to be able to see out the window.
Yeah, that's cute.
What did the Fat Controller give them as a present? I don't know.
A gun.
If you ever have some rowdy passenger...
Toby, you're a very good steam tram, so I'm giving you this gun. What am I supposed to do with it?
Just hold it between your teeth, and if someone comes near you that you don't like, bite down on it and the trigger will fire.
Well, you see, Toby, as you've learned from playing Fortnite with us every day, a gun can be used to kill your enemies. Sir, with all due respect, I didn't really enjoy Fortnite very much.
Well then, I guess you're not a really useful engine.
Don't you know, sir? Minecraft good, Fortnite bad.
I like that we can see the inside of Toby in this.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Here's the thing, we're joking about the page, but genuinely, like, this whole little bit is just sweet. Like, I don't have much to say on it, but, like, it's just
like,
cute.
It's so cool that they get a footplate right. That's nice.
Yeah, and, like,
they
kind of, like, build up to it. Like, they see them every day, and it's like, oh, yeah, for the last one, like, ride in, like, with us. And, like, he has, like, little, like, presents for them. It's cute.
And this is also directly based on Wilbert's holiday, because the reason he wanted to write about the tram engines is because he got to have a cab ride on one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
Cute.
Toby is good.
Yeah.
Toby good. Cars bad, Toby good. That's the moral of the story.
Hey, Cars is amazing.
The months passed. Toby had few trucks and fewer passengers. "Our last day, Toby," said his driver sadly one morning. "The manager says we must close tomorrow." That day, Henrietta had more passengers than she could manage. They rode in the trucks and crowded in the brake van, and the guard hadn't enough tickets to go around. The passengers joked and sang, but Toby and his drivers wished they wouldn't. "Goodbye, Toby," said the passengers afterward. "We are sorry your line is closing down." "So am I," said Toby sadly. It so fucking sucks! Like, it just skips from, like, you know, the last happy day Toby has to, like, fucking Toby at the fucking bottom, at, like, rock bottom, and now it's his last day, and only now do a bunch of the townspeople show up to ride his fucking funeral train.
It's sad
like, fucking
how accurate this is.
Yeah! Like, if they didn't want him to close down, they should have actually, like, you know, supported him instead of, like, fucking laughing at him every day.
They had the power to keep him around. Like, they're not here because they're gonna miss the tramway. They're here because it's an oddity they're never gonna get to experience again.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's so fucking insulting to them.
Like, they're not here for Toby. They're here for the experience of riding a steam tram.
An experience that if they had supported any other day, they'd get to experience it again. But, you know, they'd rather have it one last time than have it for the rest of time.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was always some out-of-the-way line. He's literally just, like, he goes through the town, like, daily. Also, a little wreath, like, on him.
Yeah.
Like, in the image is, like, it's cute and, like, also makes it even sadder looking.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's supposed to mean. I think it's some kind of, like, funeral thing.
It's
God,
which is a little
worse.
morbid.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was just a little decoration.
If I'm seeing it correctly, I believe that's a remembrance wreath.
Oh my god, I thought it was just, like, a cute little, like, decoration, because, like, oh, like, big day, a lot of people.
It's a fucking sick joke from these townspeople. God.
Okay, you want to know something?
The fact that they're not, like, kind of being respectful. They're just, like, joking and having a good time. And
people on the
Toby's crying because he's losing his home.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Also, for some reason, Morris excludes the special in his narration. which is weird.
That's so weird. I will say, I do like that the TV series, like, kinda tries to make it more like the people, like, did care about him, because they have, like, the little, like, banners and stuff on, like, the,
Yeah,
like, we'll
the
miss
banners
you
are
and all
neat.
that. But yeah, like,
Yeah.
those, like, I do still, like it, because it makes the scene really effective. But, like, yeah, Jesus Christ, people suck. This is a dumb
Yeah.
thing, but you want to know what this reminds me of? It was
What?
when fucking Toys R Us was closing, and like
Everybody's grown
everyone,
up. There's no more Toys R Us kids.
yeah. But it's like because I got my license like that year, so I would go like every other week or two, and then like there were just people that are like, oh, I'm gonna miss it so much, and like when they were closing, and like oh, get 10% off everything sales were going on. They were packed as shit. It was like, yeah, this wouldn't be happening if you people were fucking here before. And then also when the sales
Yeah.
actually got
You know,
good,
I-
no one was there.
Yeah, like I fucking went to Toys R Us regularly during the last couple years. They didn't have any of those sales on Wooden Railway stuff, which is weird, but whatever.
Yeah, the Wooden Railway stuff was sadly gone by the time I think they had the closing sales, because I think it was wood by that point.
I think it was like 27. It was at least like, the kind of like, end of Wooden Railway era where it was like 2017 when it closed.
It was
Because like the last thing I ever picked up from Toys R Us was like a 2017 era like Diesel Works figure 8 set, which came with Diesel and some random shit.
oh shit. It was
Yeah.
It was because Wood launched, I think, late 2017 at Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is sidetracking everything, but Jesus, genius marketing decision.
I'm just as stupid as Wood was, I have no idea why they didn't do Toby in the first wave of Wood. Like, surely he would have benefited the most from that design choice, right?
Toby's probably the one where it's like you could just like print on like the lines and like the windows and like the number, and you'd probably look okay. Like if they went
Yeah.
with like a darker shade of wood. Like God.
I just keep looking at this page because you can tell Toby's so sad.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. He's not a Toys R Us kid anymore.
See, the sad thing is, you can tell he doesn't know what he did wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't do anything wrong.
He did his work, and he did it well, and no one cared. And then now, when there's no chance of him being able to stay, everybody shows up out of the blue.
Yeah. It really is kind of a sign of things to come when it comes to, like, the changing of times. God. First they came for the tram engine.
Oh my
but
God.
I didn't speak up because I wasn't a tram engine.
Oh
You know why
God.
people were mad that I quoted the Holocaust? The Holocaust poem. I quoted Mein Kampf in the same issue.
And no one ever
God.
noticed it because no one has read Mein Kampf, you sick fuck. Most people haven't read and wouldn't know quotes from Mein Kampf, you sick fuck.
Good old
Should we-
Kenneth Penders.
This is a good page. Should we move
Yeah,
on to the
let's
last
go to the
one?
last page. The last passenger left the station, and Toby puffed slowly to his shed. Nobody wants me, he thought, and went unhappily to sleep. Next morning, the shed was flung open, and he woke up with a start to see his firemen dancing a jig outside. His driver, excited, waved a piece of paper. "Wake up, Toby!" they shouted, "and listen to this! It's a letter from the stout gentleman!" Toby listened, and... Oh, but I mustn't tell you any more, or I shall spoil the next story.
Even though we already kind of
God,
did in
just
the
the
intro.
fucking juxtaposition of,
Yeah.
the somber, seemingly final note of nobody wants me, suddenly shifting to, like, the joyous news of Toby's salvation.
I forgot
Like,
I forgot
holy shit, that's so
I
good!
forgot the fireman dancing. That's adorable.
He's happy.
I
Yeah,
wish we
I
could have
saved.
seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, also, the line at the very end, I mustn't say any more, I'll spoil the next story. It's fucking classic,
I
amazing,
loved.
outstanding. You can see why people steal it for other stories, because it's such a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell that even if most of the people in the towns didn't, his driver and fireman fucking loved him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was their job.
They go they go with him too, right?
Yeah, they do.
Well, someone had to drive him there.
Yeah, someone had to drive him there. They're probably the ones who decided to bring Henrietta with them.
I love that. Like, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves a bit, but they're like, oh, you brought Henrietta. You don't mind, do you? Like,
I like when he's like, oh, they wanted to like turn her into a hen house, and he's like, I couldn't let that happen, and the Fat Controller is just like, certainly not. He was like, yeah, like, no problem, we'll get you both cleaned up. It's
Like,
cute.
yeah, Henry. Like, no, Henrietta is not gonna be a head house. Over my dead body.
that controller
way-
fucking pulls out a semi-automatic and is like,
The way you
Where's the station master?
the way you two could do the like DVD menu Fat Controller voice so perfectly, I love it.
your certificate is waiting for you in my office.
Welcome to the character gallery. Thomas and his friends are here to something something. I keep forgetting this line.
Thomas and his friends are here to default dance on your corpse.
Oh fuck yeah!
Man.
This is a good ending.
Do you want to move on to ratings?
Yeah.
Good.
Alright, I'm going first. Duck. This is a very good opening note, and I love it so much. Just the stark contrast of starting outside of Sodor's novel. Just seeing Toby's line slowly decline is so somber, but the moments of joy with the Hat family and the letter do such a good job of lifting the mood.
Yeah.
It's really different from all the stories we've had up until this point. It's just so good. I love it. So it's the Duck. It's great.
It's not even necessarily one we really get anything quite like again, too.
Yeah.
This story is completely separated from the rest of the world that the series exists in.
It really feels that way too, with the fact that the people are so just fucking indifferent and cold towards the engines, and that they're just allowed to just go into disrepair and close the lines like that. This would never happen on Sodor.
Yeah.
Which is why it's all the more heartwarming Toby gets to go to Sodor.
Yeah. So, originally I had in my notes for this story that Toby, which part of me wants to do still because of the
Because Toby.
ironic
Haha,
fitting. Yeah, but genuinely it's there genuinely isn't anything really more I could want from this. It's pretty much perfect. As you were saying, it does everything really well. It has a lot of it sets everything up really well. It tells a very good story with a good note at the end that both ties things up and doesn't. It ends it on a hopeful note on its own, but then still leaves it open for the rest of the book, and it does a really good job of balancing kind of the sad stuff going on with the the happier notes. And I'm not wording well, but yeah, I really don't have literally anything I could complain about with this one. I think it did everything it went to do perfectly. So Douglas for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Douglas too. I agree with you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I genuinely is the thing. I can be pretty critical, but I genuinely can't think of anything I would have had done differently. I wish the TV series version could have included the little human stuff bits of it more. I get why it didn't, because
It could.
I mean, geez, yeah, even in season 5 when they had episodes where the Fat Controller was the focus, you could tell they were struggling to do
Yeah.
anything with those figures.
See, that's the thing. Even in Lady Hat's birthday party, most of it is just the Fat Controller shows up, and a vehicle appears, it breaks, and then he moves on.
I love the bit of him
and then a lot of,
running.
stop motion for
Yeah.
him to move places.
It looks so jarring too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say this all the time. This is what I would love to see, kind of like an Adventure Begins type adaptation of. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, for like the book and everything, I genuinely think it's perfect. Like, there's nothing I would change.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it is, like I was saying earlier, this is one of those stories that would definitely benefit from getting like a more in-depth re-adaptation, like an Adventure
Yeah,
Beginsing.
yeah.
But as it is, it's good.
It's good. Yeah.
So, like, with me, I think, with the exception of Thomas, and honestly, probably maybe even beyond Thomas, this is probably the best character introduction story we've had so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, by far, honestly.
Like, you know, they don't have to tell you everything about Toby in this. We know he's an old tram engine, he's a little bit worn out, but, he's skilled, he's experienced, he's good at what he does, and he's friendly.
He doesn't like taking
Yeah.
people's shit, but then like he's friendly when people deserve it.
Yeah. It's like, this is the thing, I'm very glad that we did get Toby on Sodor, but I feel like even like ending this story without the letter would have been a really bittersweet but nice story. Like,
I think I get that, but I do think the letter kind of makes it though.
this is the thing. I am
Yeah.
so glad the letter happened, because I feel like if Toby was a one-off character, that like the series would lose so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Even if he's not always there, I feel like Toby very much is the heart of the series.
Yeah.
People always talk about like Edward as that, but like I really feel like Toby is like the heart and soul of the railway and of the series as a whole, because he's just so nice.
I feel like he was also always integrated into the cast well.
Yeah.
Like even when like you could tell they kind of like struggled with like what they wanted to do with him, like he would still always show up.
And I think they always did well with him when the writers really wanted to.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here, but I feel like this entire book is probably exactly how I would want it to be.
Genuine
Yeah.
thing. That's what like the first like 30 like 20-30 minutes or so of Tobias is, from what I remember. Because it is just kind of like exploring that period. Like that movie gets fucking bonkers, which is like part of why I like it. Honestly, the engine fight scenes are ridiculous but amazing. But like it has like a lot of like really like kind of nice like explore bits at the beginning. And I like that too. The story is good. It's one I really can't picture the franchise without.
I think Toby and the Stout Gentleman is like, we've been saying Toby is where the series is really gonna pick up. It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Thomas the Tank Engine, I feel like at this point in time is kind of the exception to the rule in terms of the series quality. Like, Tank Engine Thomas again is good. I genuinely like Troublesome Engines. But Thomas the Tank Engine is the only, like, amazing one. Toby's up there. I feel like it's right alongside Thomas the Tank Engine for me. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is where the quality of the series really solidified, and I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Toby's good.
I know this.
I like Toby.
That's not really a deep take, but like this is just kind of one of those stories where it's like it does everything it needs to do and it does it incredibly well.
Yeah.
This is the tiny thing, but I like that with my copy of this, not only is it book number 7, but it's also like an orangey brown.
Toby, oh Toby.
Also, his song is very good.
We still care about you. The world's
Toby,
much
oh,
brighter.
Toby,
And
what
we
will become of you?
Okay,
see
but, like-
you. I don't remember the
We're ending the episode now. No more singing. Goodbye.
Okay, but
Oh wait,
like,
let me speak, yeah.
genuinely, like, the part of that song, which is just like the show them what you can do, the world's much brighter whenever we see you, is so fucking accurate for Toby. Like,
Yeah. I love the song. It fits perfectly.
It's such a good song.
it's one of the best ones they did.
Alright, so next time, we're going to be talking about the second story in Toby the Tram Engine, Thomas in Trouble.
A-cab.
A-cab. See you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Season 2's going. Let's do it, gamers.